So you may be wondering why there weren't any reviews these past couple weeks. It's because a friend of mine decided to make some changes with how we've been producing these videos. Rather than just posting a video within a week or so due to personal reasons. We'll be taking patron DabHD's SML batch reviews. Ooh, you should go check out his channel if you like. And compiling all the SMG4 reviews into a single monthly review video. The reviews will also be shortened to better look into the videos more briefly, since most of my past reviews were just retelling the whole plot. I'll also finally be including video footage to better represent what's being described. So let's get started with the first edition of SMG4 multi-reviews. This video feels like a continuation of Mario Preschool, but it's different enough to separate itself from that episode. But instead of being forced to comply with YouTube's rules protecting kids, it starts with the FBI barging into SMG4's room, forcing him to make educational programming. That's it. And we get the cast trying to imitate Sesame Street with following skits. Shroomy and Bob teach the letter B. SMG4 looks for an octagon ending up at road crossing PSA. Kermit talks about happiness with Mario, successfully pissing him off. Monitor teaches young Toad the difference between legal and illegal, though ironically he ends up assaulting the kid. Toad sings the alphabet and vents about his external crisis. Elmo and Boopkins host a segment with the former having an ego the size of the planet. Bowser's talk show where he welcomes a familiar face. Pretty much no need to show what comes next.
Get what you fucking deserve!
SMG4's small and tall song, my favorite. A PSA about strangers where Luigi gets blasted, and Swag and Chris learn about love, showcasing a bit of a backstory, emphasizing their brotherly bond, which is outright beautiful. However, the feds kindly reject SMG4's work and it ends. 9.5 out of 10. This was a fantastic sketch video, but lack of explanation or reason for why he made kids show is an issue. Who knows if it's YouTube related or not. Yes, that is the title. Mario, Tari, Bob, the Good Boopkins, and Jub Jub are stuck in the middle of nowhere with their car broken down. So two of them try to hitchhike a ride, and the others look for the resting place, stumble upon a farm. They explore and find out it's empty except for a scarecrow that only talks about corn, which freaks them out. Unable to look for anyone who could help, Mario and Bob decide to raid the cornfield to pass the time against Tari's wishes. But she herself goofs off by playing with the barn animals. Boopkins and Jub Jub are still busy looking for transport rather unsuccessfully. Back to the others, Tari realizes the damage they done to get to the farm and regrets it. She calls Maggie for help, but she's tired, so the three try to repair everything themselves. After that, the scarecrow reveals its true form. Back to Boopkins and Jub Jub. They find Steve, who gladly offers them a ride in his truck. The others question who the scarecrow is, and it responds with a recorder full of corn-related phrases. Bob exclaims it reminds him of himself and gives it the name Rob. Not a robot. Turns out he left all the equipment out so they could fix the farm, which happens to be Steve's, and Rob happens to be his personal scarecrow. Steve drives in all the way home and the gang says farewell to Rob, but the barn falls apart as soon as they leave. So, what do I think of Rob? He certainly didn't make a bad impression. He looks pretty adorable, but I wonder where exactly he comes from other than being Steve's farm. His debut song gets some mystery vibe, and it's up to them if he's fleshed out in the future videos or just becomes another side character for the time being. Anyway, this video gets an 8.5 out of 10. Some scenes were dragged out, which may be noticeable with slightly longer runtime, and the hitchhiking scenes weren't too funny. And oh yeah, corn is a top tier vegetable. Well, after Mario tried running the company that made him, of course taking over his home was the big step. Peach goes on vacation having nothing better to do, and she gives Toadsworth her crown to keep an eye on. I can see he still has that princess obsession too. Remember the old videos? Mario shows him the Wizard Rock, which summons a portal, sucking Toadsworth and dropping the crown. Mario puts it on, pretending to be his deadbeat lover. Toad tells him about emergency, believing he's the leader. And from there it devolves entirely in the Mushroom Kingdom. When they get to see the task, Mario does as the supposed ruler, deciding what Bob's punishment is for stealing. Finding out who's been poisoning the water supply, coming up with his own version of social distancing for a different illness, scaring away villagers that have been eating the crops, and last but not least, solving the battle between Big SMG4 and Long SMG4. We'll talk about that more in our next entry. Weeks later, the kingdom has turned into a dictatorship thanks to the power-hungry plumber. Exasperated, Mario's friends stand up for themselves, fighting back as they duke it out with his army, making for an entertaining fight. But suddenly Peach arrives, agitated at Mario's actions, slaps the spaghetti out of him, and takes back her crown. Everything goes back to normal, and Mario exclaims it was funny with his friends exhausted, frozen in place. 9 out of 10, this one is interesting, amusing, and a great example of someone having too much power, although we see Mario in charge of something and make it go off the rails before. This might be the best version of this concept yet. Honestly, what Mario did to the Mushroom Kingdom doesn't come close to what happens in the real world. Wow, that sure isn't depressing. On a lighter note, my personal highlight was the debate between the two SMG4 memes, which brings us to... Oh boy, do I have a story to tell you about this video. In case you didn't know, a few weeks back, Kevin drew this image of chubby Luke, who we know as Big SMG4, and tweeted about it. My good friend Falcon decided to reply with a frigid chat meme comparing the drawing to Long SMG4. Another edit I'm sure someone took their sweet time to make. Basically, an image of Big, the size of movement, is about to ravage the Earth, Terminator style, causing everyone to panic. Psycho and Shroomy launch a nuclear rocket to destroy it, but Mario also shoots Jojo, which hits the rocket and then explodes. Genius. Psycho is pissed at him, but Shroomy has an idea for another solution. They go to NASA looking for EGAD, who's busy playing an anime dating sim with his co-workers. He helps out the three heroes, asking him to go to the Upside Down, which is code for Hell, to find a demon who could stop the threat. After arriving, Shroomy sings about traveling through the Inferno, which I gotta say is fire. Moving on. Then they get attacked by a horde of monsters, which make Shroomy reveal his dark side that he got from being Doom Guy's apprentice. And Psycho is flattered with this. EGAD shows up to check if they met the demon, so they give him a hand, no pun intended, which is just enough for the experiment. So they all head back to the lab and get the following materials ready. The demon hand and a hair sample from SMG4. EGAD summons Full Metal Alchemist style. Long SMG4, which knocks Big into space. Just as they're about to collide with the planet and everyone's safe, Shroomy questions where the deadly image came from. And it turns out to be a result of Professor's mad project combining Glitchy with a big Yoshi. Remind me not to think about what he does in his free time. And SMG4 is now stuck in space with a screaming Link. Let's hope at least he had some mooncake. Who knew they could tackle inside jokes within the community no less. To feed this video and the segment from the previous one started because of drawing and a reply to said drawing. My buddy's welcome by the way, and he won't mind if he gets credit for those who will not. Anyway, this is just another looming thread type of episode. But it's solid. Solid one at that, so it gets a 9 out of 10. I also have a note effects during the certain scenes are a nice touch. I personally would like to forget what happened with the preview of Maggie in the trash can. Finally, we have this video following the events of Maggie moves in as she becomes deputy in training with Mr. Monitor. They start by pretending to lock someone up, then the Wire brothers remark that she will never protect the streets, causing Monitor to turn on the dreaded anime channel. The two drive off their next lesson as he gives her a uniform, causing her to scream in joy. When they see a montage of typical police tasks, Mario's about to litter, Tari feeding ducks where she's supposed to, Bob and SMG4 smuggling memes, a donut break, and helping an old guy, or old man hobo, crossing the street. After that, Monitor spots a Shy Guy gang dealing with some sort of business. Then he visits his family. By that I mean a toaster and a microwave on display. Is that technically normal? The police dispatch announces reports of unauthorized activity and they're off to investigate. It's the Shy Guys attempting to human trafficking, so the two officers chase after the truck and battle the mobsters. They arrive at the hideout and rescue the crates of stolen appliances, which to Monitor counts as trafficking. Now they need to catch the leader who pops up and sprays Monitor, short-circuiting, leaving Maggie to catch the crook. Using the best of her abilities, she kicks the criminal into microwave and he is unable to escape. She comes back to Monitor rebooting him and he thanks her for her hard work. Maggie is still far off from becoming an official for her, but he has the feeling he will look up around her later. Later, Luigi brought a microwave to replace the one Mario broke. He opens up the one that Shy Guy was captured in and the brothers freaked out. Well, this video is a good follow-up to Maggie Moves In. Step forward in developing Maggie's character, as well as being Monitor's first starring role. In 8.5 out of 10, the illusion of an action-packed scene sort of got in the way in terms of leaving more room for comedy. But this is still a solid video, regardless of its flaw. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you... Wait, you serious? You're telling me there's an elephant in the room I had to address. Fine. Should've known this will happen. So I'm sure you heard of what's currently unfolding in America, and at the time being making this video, it caused these horrific events. Basically, a police officer did a big no-no to an innocent black man that made him pass away, and people across the country are upset that this happened, making major cities break out in the protests and riots. What do I think of this happening? Well, that should give you an idea. I think what the officers did is shameful and should be held accountable for his actions. What I don't think of anyone should be doing is blaming every single cop in existence and destroying business and property. Especially not this person's memory. What does this have to do with Officer Maggie? Well, it's very much obvious. Viewers have pointed out this video come out in an appropriate time because it involves police. And some are leaving and making it look like SMG4 is insensitive to this real world problem. Great. Let me explain that not everything is trying to make cops look like the worst thing ever, nor is not making cops look even better than they are. Mr. Monitor and Maggie in this episode were doing their job properly and did absolutely nothing that relates to what the cops did in real life. Plus, that one line where he says nothing is illegal on the Justice League is meant to be ironic, considering the police brutality is nothing new. Also, I doubt that they will intentionally portray something as horrible as they're in the videos. So they don't pay much as attention to what happens over here as we do. They live in Australia, for crying out loud. The fact someone will paint out to be careless of a big social issue just because they aren't a fan of their content simply infuriates me. Part of me does feel like they should put up a disclaimer to clear up confusion. But again, people should be smart about this stuff and not like a complete idiot over it. So anyone who still says it's the bad timing and just pointing fingers, please shut up. Now, as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching the first edition of SMG4 multi-reviews. I hope you like the new format, but I will still do single reviews for special videos that want those. Sharing this video will be appreciated, and subscribe if you would like to see more reviews every month and reactions each week. Please stay safe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.
Do you think everyone's colors will ever fade back to normal?
Sure, they've already started, but it doesn't matter anymore. Everyone's learned that it's not a person's color that counts, it's the kind of person they are inside.
Think they'll ever learn that lesson in the real world?
Yeah, when humans get as smart as mushrooms.